Luke chapter 4, verses 17 through 22 says, "And the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to Jesus. Unrolling it, he found the place where it is written, 'The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners, and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor.'" Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of everyone in the synagogue were fastened on him. He began by saying, "Today this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." All spoke well of him and were amazed at the gracious words that came from his lips. "Isn't this Joseph's son?" they asked. Well, sort of. Let's take one step further in this pivotal story of Jesus launching his earthly ministry. Today, we are going to look at the initial reaction people had to what Jesus had been saying, because we are about to find out that what Jesus says is clearly important. Our reaction to what he says is important as well. More about that tomorrow. As we had been talking about over the past couple of days, Jesus had been Mr. Popularity to this point. People were continually amazed at what he had to say and are shown here to be hanging on every word he had to say. Jesus makes this incredibly bold statement, and the people's immediate reaction to it is positive, but the people were not thinking it through. These folks thought that this scripture was about Jesus, but Jesus is about to make it about them instead. What Jesus is doing here makes me think about the performative structure of magic. All stage magic has the same structure. It occurs in three parts. Number one, the pledge. Number two, the turn. Number three, the prestige. In the example of a dove, the magician presents something ordinary in the pledge, a dove. For the turn, the magician takes the viewer from the ordinary to the extraordinary, making the dove disappear. In the final act, the prestige, the magician takes the viewer from the extraordinary to the astounding, making the dove reappear. We saw Jesus present the ordinary, a reading from the prophet Isaiah. For the extraordinary, Jesus adds the statement about the scripture being fulfilled in their hearing. Tomorrow we will see the prestige.